All right, folks, time to break down chapter 8 of this book, The Turner Diaries. All right, folks, so, things are starting to happen in the book. Turner's team uh, has been split up. The other two males have been uh, taken to or replaced with a couple. So there's two couples together now: Turner, Catherine, and then this other couple who are married. And then the other two guys have been transferred to another team. So it just goes to show you, in the fog of war, sometimes they got to shuffle things around, especially when you're a guerrilla force. You've got to divide your teams up into certain missions. So now Turner's team, their main focus is obviously communications, electronics, stuff of that nature. The other couple, uh, the husband of the two, is a another mechanically inclined person, so he's very helpful. He's an armorer, uh, knows how to do printing. They were running a propaganda operation with leaflets and things like that. So now that's part. So Turner's in charge of this other couple and Catherine, and so it's shaking up things a little bit for them, but yet they don't have the problem of two single guys with hanging around with him and Catherine. Um, Another thing that's going on in the background, within the society as a whole, not the organization, not the group of guerrillas, but society as a whole, uh, laws are starting to change. There's mention of the rape laws have changed because women are equal. So men can't be raped, and now women can't be raped either. Rape is no more than like simple assault, so it's like getting socked in the nose. So that's causing some issues for women if they don't have, if they're not attached to a man, if they don't have some sort of matriarch or or patriarch rather. They don't have a father figure to take care of them, or a husband, or a boyfriend to look out for them. Women are getting molested and raped, and it's causing all kinds of problems, um, which is kind of funny. You see all these things going on now with people have no idea what their gender is. Uh, so now, this kind of is looking at that kind of thing. Back, when this book was written in the 70s, it's like he had seen some squirrely stuff coming, back then. But he, the writer Pierce, uh, he thought it was going to be a women's equal rights thing, which, I mean, in all actuality, I guess it still could happen. If you're considering, a guy that wants to say he's a female and use the women's bathroom and attack women, or say he's a woman, a man decides he's a female and then fights in the MMA, same thing. It's kind of stacking the decks against the women. They don't like to admit it, but physically, you know, 99% of the women just are not physically as strong as the men. They're just not built that way. Their positive aspects are different than a man's. Men and women are different. There's no getting around it. And so the book even touches on that, which I found kind of humorous, but yet in a dystopian kind of way, because women are, being victimized. Um, the other thing that's going on is they're having problem with, with food supplies. So they're getting down to where they're eating soup and old bread. So that goes back to the if you think something is going to happen in the future, you need to be stacking your food, to the rafters, putting away as much as you can. They were only a 4-man team or a 4-person team. You know, it wouldn't have taken much to really supply them for a whole year if they had thought about it beforehand and just, stockpiled rice and beans and canned goods. But, can't think of everything, and not to mention you got to be able to move quickly. So if you don't, food takes up a lot of space and it gets heavy if you've got, a year's worth of food or 6 months or whatever. So those are things to consider, when you're thinking about setting something up like a bug out location or whatever. So the other thing that they're touching on is Turner and this other guy. They've got to try to make do with some of the munitions that they had acquired from Aberdeen proving grounds. So they've got some mortar rounds, but they don't have quite the right mortar launcher. So they've got to retrofit one to work, for some future event that they can use that on, which, if you can, send rounds downrange from a distance, that's a hell of a lot safer than trying to hand carry a bomb somewhere. So, they're starting to think along those lines, so they're using guerrilla tactics to the extreme. And I think it's really quite interesting how this book touches on those things. If something were to happen and we were invaded by a foreign force, how would we deal with that? Hopefully, Americans would band together and create groups and do something similar. That's the good thing about our country. We have access to munitions and guns and things like that. So, that's a pretty big deterrent. The downside is we've got a lot of, guys that think they're girls and girls that think they're guys. So a lot of mentally confused folks out there, which, kind of negates the whole guns thing, an invading force might be like, they're freaking crazy over there in the U.S. This ain't going to be a problem. It may cause us problems in the future. So anyway, that's the breakdown for Chapter 8. Check back in later for the breakdown for Chapter 9, and I'll check you YouTubers out later.